Blake Lively accused of trying to silence her critics and launching a shady legal blitz. Oh man, look at this panel we got to break it down. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore. And oh my gosh, I've been talking to an amazing panel of Zach Peter, Donna Bowling of Daily Dose of Donna. It's Kim. Oh my God, what a fun conversation we've had. I just wanted, there's so much to go listen to. So go to the website, Popcorn Planet, sign up to get the replays. But I wanted to sort of sum up in a quicker, digestible version because there's some shady stuff happening, in my opinion. We just all heard the hearing. There was a hearing about a scheduling hearing. And I want to go back around and I do want to remind everybody, there was a point on that call, which was pretty standard bullshit scheduling stuff. But there was a point on that call where it did feel like the lawyers, or the judge rather, Judge Lyman, was basically getting annoyed that Justin's lawyer was talking, is kind of the vibe I got. And while he was sort of beginning a statement about, well, yeah, you know, the Blake's team was putting it out there, all of this salacious smear campaign stuff, they responded by, well, these were third-party organic statements from content creators. Now we understand they're after Google. And Judge just immediately interrupted. I don't need a point by point. And then it was kind of really jarring. Yes, we all felt that it was a very jarring moment. Like, why didn't you let him finish? I was very curious because it was relevant to a lot of people who are waiting for information about these subpoenas. Are they real, et cetera? And the judge sort of caught himself. I think you said it too, Donna, earlier, probably realizing he's being recorded. A lot of people are listening. And he said, you all have versions of the facts that you want the court to understand. There will come a time when you each get to expand on those facts. I'm just trying to solve a scheduling matter. We will discuss at the appropriate time. But Donna, do you agree with me? Did that feel a little shady? Do you feel like that was the appropriate time to shut Baldoni's team down?
It may have been the right message, but it did feel like he cut him off and didn't give him even a chance to finish his sentence. I felt like it was not fair compared to the amount of time he gave Blake Lively's side.
And also, Donna, it was weird because you brought up Friedman said not a single word on that call. Did that surprise you?
Friedman, like Ursula has taken Friedman's voice and we need to find it. He is Ariel on the land. I don't know. Ursula is Blake Lively or Judge. I don't know what's going on. Friedman, poor thing, has been scared into silence by Blake Lively in this case because he knows that Judge Lyman doesn't like him. But I think it's extended now to anyone representing Wayfarer, sadly.
Zach, what was your perspective when you were listening? Did anything surprise you on that hearing call?
Yeah, Friedman's in the basement. He's been sequestered.
Oh.
No, I think it was obvious that Judge Lyman is irritated with the Lively parties, and I think a lot of it is coming from Brian Friedman. I think Brian Friedman is a settlement attorney, right? You hire him so that he comes out guns a-blazing, it never gets to trial, and he's trying to bend you as tightly as he can until you break. And I think, unfortunately, Lively's team prepared her for that, and they, made sure that they let her know that he was going to pressure her to quit, and she put that in her mind and is going the distance. So I think, unfortunately, all Friedman's tricks, he used his full bag of tricks and it pissed off Lyman. And now I think Lyman doesn't take the Wayfair parties as seriously, and they're all kind of, to a degree, being sanctioned, and I'm using that metaphorically, sanctioned by not being able to really put forth their case. He's kind of hindering them.
Cam, there's kind of a vibe check you do get when you get to hear them finally. We get to hear them in these calls. It's the limited moment we get. I mean, they mentioned some dates, October 1st, October 15th being the latest sort of for respecting of documents. Things can be filed another August 1st, whatever. Kind of confusing what it all firstly meant. It'll be in paper soon. But did you get any other takeaways? How did they pass the vibe check to you, Kim?
The biggest thing that I took away was I felt like the judge is very tired of this, and I can't blame him. If you take a look at the amount of documents that have been filed in this docket, I believe we're over the 400 mark at this point of documents that have been submitted, and we know many of them are quite large. And when you compare it even with some of the federal cases that I've covered, like criminal federal cases, like they're at the 400 mark when it's over. And we've got another, how many months potentially of this until they go to trial. And so I think his goal was to get this hearing done as quickly as possible. And there was I think there was a bit of rambling at the beginning from Blake's side, but it was to do specifically with the scheduling, and it was them presenting their case as to why they wanted to change the outline. And then when they got to Baldoni's
not to interrupt,
side,
but I'm glad you brought that up, because the judge did, to his credit, he did ask multiple times, why should I do this, Blake? Why should I do this, Blake?
Tell me why. And then she would say something, and then he'd go, no, but why should I do that? So he was trying to push to get more information out of Blake Lively's team. And then when Baldoni's team started speaking and they brought up the content creators, he just kind of shut it down, because I think it's like he's just trying to get this planned, because there's so many other, and he did mention that there's a lot of other like motions and things that are open, and they're working hard and they're trying to get things done. And I think maybe he's just at a point where he's just like, get on with it. Get on with it. This is ridiculous. And I can't blame him for that at all.
No, for sure.
I do hope that if he is feeling a bias against the Wayfarer parties, that he's able to recognize that. And, if he's got an issue with Friedman, he's got an issue with Friedman, but there are other attorneys on the Wayfarer side that are great attorneys. And I think they will be able to represent well. And I hope that they can find common ground with the judge at this stage.
Yeah, no, agreed. Now, while I have you all, just quickly, also the second part of the thing I wanted to bring back up is the Google subpoena. Now, I've finally received it. Here's mine. And it's very strange. It's hard to read. Donna has pointed out it's a fax. I don't know. They're all the same. So I'm going to read this paragraph, which is a little bit easier to read because mine's got a lot of, they didn't wipe, it looks like over here. So let's read this one, but I'm going to put in my name instead of the redacted name. What they want: all subscriber information for the username Popcorn Planet associated with YouTube and Google Pay, not limited to now. Let me read this again, because as I read this, this is you, the audience members, the subscribers of us and us. They want your first and last name, your registered email addresses, your phone numbers, your physical addresses, your backup and recovery emails or phone numbers, your subscriber registration information, don't even know what that is, the length of service, meaning how long you've been a subscriber here, and also to any other premium services, your means and source of payment for those services, if applicable, credit card, bank account numbers, public blockchain data, and addresses. They also want your IP addresses for initial registration when you first subscribed, as well as all IP addresses used from May 1st to present, with dates and session times, how long you've watched Popcorn Planet or any of these other channels. They also want video upload IP addresses. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but the way this reads, it's their data going back around. Zach, do you get that vibe as well? Is that how you see this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're mainly trying to prove that these are fake accounts and that these are bots, to prove that maybe somehow Wayfair is funding some companies. Jed Wallace is astroturfing and creating all these fake accounts to watch our content, to incentivize us to keep talking about Blake Lively. I don't know how realistic it is. It feels like such an overreach to try it. Like, it's so arrogant of Blake Lively to be like, I need to know the names and the behaviors of everybody that watches videos that may be negative about me on the internet. I need to prove to myself that they're real, so give me all of their data. It's crazy.
Donna, do you even think they could go through this much data? Again, with 1 million subscribers, plus I'm sure another several million with everybody else that's there. Who the hell's going to plow through all this and figure
No, they have
out?
50,000 hours of footage they have to go through first.
Seriously.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
This one they're asking
Blake
for. Go ahead.
Lively,
Sorry, Donna.
No, I'm sorry. Blake Lively's not going through any of this. Like, Blake Lively has no, if anything, all she had a part in was maybe picking some of these creators. So take it as a compliment that she's watching your videos. I don't think that she'll have any idea, any of the information, nor does she give a shit. I think she's probably going to, they've hired like techies, hacker type people, those really, really smart computer science engineering people that, I don't know, work for the government, probably, that will come in. Like, I don't know. I just watched the Karen Reed trial. They have those crazy, expensive witnesses that come in there that's their job. Forensic witnesses that come in there and they go through phone records and computer records. And that's what they do for a living. They get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to go through stuff like this, to correlate any sort of theories. So what they'll do is try to correlate a through line between Existing to Thrive and Lauren Knighty and Popcorn Planet and Jed Wallace. It's insane.
It's wild. Now, there are people calling her out. Shout out to Molly. Someone really wants to see Blake
Bless
Lively go
Molly.
down. We talked about this earlier. I made a video about it, and go follow her and watch it for sure. Now, and then others are now calling out. Daily Mail, thankfully, wrote this article about us, which you should check out. They changed the headline. I'm trying to figure out why. But anyway, I bring all this up and we'll talk about it more in our live. But Kim, I want to go to you. I had a theory. There is a version of me where it's like they're asking for all this data just because they know it's going to take hours and they can just bill her. Do you think there's a version of this where even Blake and Ryan's lawyers are maybe like fed up, had enough, and they're like, yeah, we're going to give, and they probably don't even understand it. So they just sort of put this out there as sort of a to-do to get some more hours charged at Blake and Ryan and their sort of endless income that they're so emotionally charged at this point. I bet you they're not checking any of these charges. They're just like, yep, here's the card. Get what you need, lawyers. Could there be a version where this is just an overreach on the lawyers' part to sort of make it seem like they're getting data, but they really have no clue what they're even doing?
I think it's an interesting theory. I mean, many of the attorneys I know personally are really good people, but there are a lot of lawyers that are not. And there's a lot of lawyers that they are here for the money and they're going to figure out how to get as much money as possible. And I could see this being a potential thing when it comes to that. I have a lot of questions about what type of a precedence this could set.
Yeah.
When it comes to this type of information being demanded. And one of the things I said in our conversation earlier was just that it's an assumption that if you watch something that then you hold a certain opinion or you think a certain way. And I disagree with that, especially as someone who tries to look at news from multiple sources, multiple political alignments and things like that. Just because I watch something doesn't mean that I am 100% like I am this team and I am into this person and I want this and blah, blah, blah. And I believe that. I think it's incredibly, it almost feels to me when I read this, like, I think if I was a subscriber, like I would feel violated.
Yeah.
By this.
For sure. It's ugly.
And if this is what they can do in civil court, what happens in criminal and what happens with people that have even more money and power than Blake Lively, like, i.e. politicians? That's terrifying. This is terrifying, in my opinion.
What a show. Thanks to my guests, Zach, Donna, and it's Kim. We had a fantastic full-on conversation. It lasted about an hour and a half. If you want to watch the full replay, you can go to popcornplanet.com. And still, I guess, Patreon for now, but we're going to be phasing it out. We're working on a cleaner method, but join on popcornplanet.com, hit the sign up button and catch the replays there. There'll be a playlist there to catch the replays. They'll always put them there. And make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell for alerts as well so you get the notifications. Smash that thumbs up when you get them. Leave your comments to help the algorithm. And then do the same thing for It's Kim. There she is. We'll be back live soon. Maybe not live right away. Trying to take a couple days off with the fam, so I may be out the next week or so. But we'll have content coming your way, so stay tuned. Just prepping you in case you see this on the replay. Next week I'm out. I may have to prep some stuff this Thursday, so just letting you know. But we may be, Kim may be, we'll see. We're playing it by ear, but if we're not, everybody, enjoy your time. Go spend some time offline. Get offline a little bit. It's good once in a while. We'll be here when we're back. We'll be back soon. And we got more content coming to you this week, so don't miss it. Make sure you get those notifications if you get them, and stay tuned for more. If Nerd Report's live, go check him next. I'm going to add it quickly. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for more here on Popcorn.